right, welcome back. The holidays can be a stressful period for your wallet. Many end up overspending and not realizing it until it's just too late. And that brings us to our 2 Wants to Know topic of the day, financial planning for next year. I'm joined by financial expert Janae Adams. And of course, it's always so great to see you here to talk about such an important conversation. All right, let's start here. For people who overspent during the holidays, what should be their very first financial move in January?
I would say the first financial move is letting go of the guilt that you overspent. And then next, being able to say, okay, time to move forward. What could I do going forward to see what am I spending and how can I save money to kind of make up ground for what I overspent?
How often do people feel guilty?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Because you feel good in the time that you're spending money.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when the high comes down, you're just like, why did I do that?
Right.
And so it's just like, let it go. It's over now.
Give yourself some grace.
Yes, definitely.
How can people create a realistic budget in January without feeling overly restricted?
Yeah, so first and foremost, what I call is a spending plan. I don't call it a budget because people feel like it's handcuffs. So a spending plan is just how you're gonna plan to spend your money, and that's how it is. And so I would tell them to definitely look at their bank accounts and see what they've already spent and start to look at, okay, what do I need to have money for? What's important and what's not important? What can I cut out or cut back on to bring more money in each month?
Sure, absolutely. How do you recommend people track spending if they've never done it before?
So I have something called a 2-week expense tracking.
Okay.
So you're gonna track every penny on the 1st of the month or the 15th for 2 weeks. So you got all your big bills, rent, mortgage, cell phone.
Sure.
But then in the 2 weeks in between, you're gonna calculate everything else. So if you go to the gas station and buy gas, that receipt needs to be kept. If you go inside the gas station and buy a soda for $1, that receipt needs to be kept. Every penny needs to be tracked for 2 weeks so you know exactly what you're spending, and then you create your spending plan off of those numbers.
Any creative ways on how to store those receipts when they do grab them and bring them home?
I would say that first and foremost, put them in your glove department so
Okay.
it doesn't do anything. And then when you get home, everybody put it in one place. So nothing gets lost.
Yeah.
Everything in one place.
Yeah. Well, how should they rebuild that emergency fund into next year?
Yeah, so the way to rebuild it into next year is to look at what you can cut out or cut back from that spending plan. So if you can cut back on one of those streaming services, maybe that's $25. Now that goes into the emergency fund. And you do that with every single line on your spending plan, and you may come up with $100, $200 a month. And that's what you use to build your emergency fund of at least $1,500.
Okay, we talked about feeling guilty. How can people not feel that way?
So going forward,
when they overspend.
Yeah, when they overspend. So going forward, to make sure that you're not going to overspend. Okay, say, okay, this is what I did in 2025. That will not be my story in 2026.
Sure.
So we're going to actually write down what we're going to be spending our money on each and every month so you don't make that happen again.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's one financial habit that can make the biggest difference by next Christmas?
I would say the biggest financial habit, especially we're talking about Christmas shopping, is to say to yourself, what do I plan to spend in December, or what did I spend this December? And at least start with that number and say, and calculate it out, divide by 12. And then save that amount of money each and every month so when December comes, you're not feeling overwhelmed that you overspent.
Because some people don't wait to spend things for Christmas until December comes around, but they can really start financially planning even months before Christmas begins.
And they can save that way and also catch deals throughout the year and not have to wait until Black Friday or anything like that where deals are far in between during that time.
That makes sense. If viewers remember just one piece of advice for bouncing back financially next year, what would that advice be?
So the one thing I would say about bouncing back financially is to say that it's never too late. A lot of people say, well, Janae, it's too late for me to bounce back. It's too late for me to invest. It's never too late. So if you have financial goals, set them out and start finding the money to reach those goals.
Any tips that you're doing personally that work for you?
So what I'm doing now is really calculating out what I want to do in 2026.
I like that.
And adding the numbers to it. So if it's a certain trip I want to go on, what does the flight cost? What does the hotel cost? What kind of activities do I want to do and what does that cost? And I get that number and I start saving towards it.
How far out in advance should you be doing that? Especially, for example, when you are booking a flight to a certain destination.
Well, I know where some flight deals are, so I kind of I kind of wait till things come up, and so I just seen Turks and Caicos, and that's in the summer. And so
you're gonna take me with you.
Yeah, I will take you with it. I definitely will.
Yeah.
And so I usually say 6 months.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very nice. Any last minute final details that you want to add?
I would tell people don't be too hard on yourselves. And if you feel like you overspent this past December, guess what? It's a new year coming, and
That's
we're going to
right.
make changes then.
We're going to start all over. Don't feel guilty. Give yourself grace. Right, Meg?